Your men can have love for the truckie. Beautiful minds, but we love getting ugly. Risk takers with a clover, man, we love getting lucky. You run, we chase fire, I love when it ducks me. Tones go off, house watch, read the address out. 1075, get up off the magic couch. 500 gallons prepared for the baddest drought. Who else you want on the way when disaster's out? Can't even get a little bit rattled when you enter with exit apparel. Mayday, member down, they'll drag you. You won't get this from every Tom, Dick, and Harold, but here's a view from the top floor with Mickey Farrell.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of A View from the Top Floor. Today's episode, I want to touch on something I think is a great drilling point, or at least a talking point during building inspection, tabletop drill, but that's the roof position and gaining that roof position on multiple dwellings, especially in tenements. Far too often, we get to these runs or these reported fires that are deemed very quickly to be quote-unquote nuisance runs. Food on the stove, small fire extinguished prior to arrival, all these things we hear on the radio where we kind of dial it back, and many times we don't gain position on the fire building. Especially the roof position, we have to make our move. The analogy is the same thing in a football game, right? You're in that huddle. You're talking about the play, mapping out the play, and you know the play. And you know in this play, you're not getting the ball. However, when you hit hike and the play starts to unfold, if you happen to be open and things change in the moment, there's an audible. Boom, you're open, you scored the touchdown. Same thing with the roof position. Many times on these runs, you get to the roof and there's nothing going on, and you head back down. But we have to get up there and observe. We can't rush down, and you have to make the position on every run, because when you get up there, you can see conditions that no one else can see. The inside team can see a small fire extinguished prior to arrival. It happens daily. However, what they can't see is maybe fire in that pipe chase now burning its way up to the cock loft. So every run you go to the roof, even if it's a food on the stove, go find the soil pipe in that line of apartments and feel it with your hand. If it's cool, you're good. If it's warm, fire's probably coming. And if it's hot to your touch, there's a good chance that fire has already reached the cock loft. But we can't rush the process. We have to go through these steps. That's the sign of a great firefighter. The details. I always say, pay attention to the details. These are the details that nobody sees, but the details that when you do it and there is fire, you are the all-star of the game. That makes a great, great firefighter. You know, far too often we go to these runs and the next radio transmission, right after you hear the officer say, okay, just food on the stove. The roofman gets on the radio and says, ladder one roof to ladder one, you need the bulkhead. Well, a lot of times we don't, but don't ask. By asking, you are showing complacency, you're showing laziness. Take your mask off, put your rope down, and start heading up. If the boss doesn't want you to go, he'll stop you and say, we're good, bro, we're up. Or he'll make you go through the process of getting the roof and getting that bulkhead if that's what the officer deems to be done. But just go through the motions. If you make it to the roof, slow down. Go through the motions. If there was a fire, where is it traveling? Think about it. And just hang out. When you have the roof position and you make it into your position, you should absolutely be the last firefighter back on the rig. There's no reason why the roof firefighter should be the first one back to the rig or the only firefighter that doesn't get off the rig. You have to make your position. That's what makes you a professional firefighter. That's what makes you a great firefighter. With that, when you're drilling on this and you're talking about this, talk about dumbwaiter shafts, talk about blind shafts, talk about the soil pipe, the wet wall, fire travel, and void spaces. These are all great talking points for a quick tabletop drill that could turn into a 5-minute conversation that could lead to the next day you're out looking at a building, spending 45 minutes to an hour going through the motions of the roof position. But the roof position of just doing your basic duties will make you a great, great firefighter. I can think of 5 or 6 right off the top of my head where the roof man made the position. He hung out on the roof for a few minutes, didn't rush the process of getting back to the rig, getting back to the ball game. I don't care if the Rangers are on, it's a Stanley Cup. Hang out. Monitor conditions. And then you will see maybe there's some smoke coming out of the cockaloft vent. Maybe the soil pipe's hot. So these are the details that will separate you as a good firefighter to a great firefighter. All right? So just want to jump on real quick, talk about that. It's something we drilled on a few times recently. I think it's a great drill. I think it's a drill that I don't think it necessarily needs to be a drill, but it should be a standard operating procedure for every great company out there. And it speaks characters and volume for companies when you gain position. Same with the OV. Get off the rig, go through the positions or the motions of gaining that position in the fire building, even if it is just a food on the stove. All right, guys, I'm Mickey Fowler. Thanks for tuning in to another episode, and I'll talk to you soon.